Hey everyone, we are streaming right now. We will be doing a crafting stream, as you can see here. We have our granny squares ready. This is the one I'm currently working on right now. But then, of course, during this stream, we'll be working on others. So if you see me kind of do like this, it's because I'm reaching for a color over here to do the granny square. Now, I've done different versions of these. I have a screen over here up in case I need to like search any granny square patterns. Probably need to find, of course my keyboard is like under because I'm like, hey look, like, hi, keyboard's down here. But because I'm opening this space for you guys to observe, to say hello, all that fun stuff. And then of course I also have my list of books that I need to do, which there's a lot. We ain't going to get all of them done tonight. I'll tell you that right now, we are not doing that. But we can at least get some of them done. Also, here's a fun fact about this crochet hook I have. See? It lights up. Wow. It also, my mom got me this, so because she knew how much I like to crochet, but like this stuff, so not including this because this actually has my other stuff in it, but this is what it came with. So if I wanted it without the light, I could do that. The charging cord, the little screws to put them on, and then I have a variety of hook sizes for the crochet. And then for this is, I just keep all of my stuff in it, so any of these to thread the stuff in and the scissors, that's how we do it. So you'll see this kind of over here behind the mic. That's only because that's where I can easily like grab, and you can kind of see it like right there. But yeah, so I keep doing this thing where it's been like a month, and then like it's been a month, and then I come back, and been a month, come back. So what the heck is going on? And I think the last time I was on here, I was talking about my ankle injury, and then talking about how I was going through all of that. And lo and behold, I ended up actually going, and I went to the doctor, and they actually put me on a knee scooter for a few weeks. So I'll be honest, I just was not feeling like anything. I felt tired, I felt sore, I probably felt cranky, like it just was not, it's not fun. If you ever get like, it's better than having crutches, like don't get me wrong, but just stay healthy. That's my thing, just stay healthy. so you don't have to do what I had to do. But I'm finally this week, technically last Friday, I turned it in, where I gave them the scooter back to officially be like, hey, I'm done with it. Let me pay my $20 and be done. Turned that back in, and now I'm officially doing therapy for the next 2 months. And it's actually quite easy. Like, a lot of the therapy they assigned me, I can do at home, and which I love because I can literally just sit on the couch and do said therapy. Like, it's not, I can go to bed and do the therapy. It's not that big of a deal. And it actually feels like it's working for me, because, like, I can actually feel where it's stretching. And they said that, like, the ones they gave me was, like, if, like, this is your foot and you're pushing, like, one of the therapy is like foot yoga, so you have your foot like this and you stretch like that. You kind of scrunch your foot up. This area right through here helps pull that arch up and then pulls the ankle this way. So then the tendons here can heal up, and then the arch here can be pulled back up. So that's fun. And then I'm doing, like, if this was like the big toe and the little toes, I'm doing like that with them. And that kind of stretch also does the same thing. And then I have like a rubber band that I'm like pulling my legs on. So it's definitely interesting. Let me make sure that all did what it needed to. Yeah. And yeah. So I got to do that. I got to start that. I had my first appointment at the beginning of this month, and then shortly after that, I was doing the therapies at home, and I think I have an appointment next Friday to actually go there and do the stuff. So yeah. I don't know if my IBS is trying to start up or if it is just my tummy being a tummy. We'll see. Yeah, it feels like that's an IBS cramp. Well, we just started the stream and then my stomach's like, hey, guess what? We're not doing it. Great. More on that info when we get back. But, yeah. I'll put up the BRB. Also turn the music up so you guys can kind of just listen to music, and we'll get right back to this. are so tiny. No wonder some of y'all. There we go. Let's fix that. Then we can unpin. There we go. Let's try this again. Hopefully we don't have another, another tummy problem. If you guys don't, I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on here, just because I'm not very shy about that, but I do have IBS. So some days I am fine and I'll, it'll be like I'm a normal person. And then other days I just flare up and my stomach's like, I hate the world, I hate you, I hate everything in between. Goodbye. I see you another day. Just another day. That's sometimes how it is. And my medicine basically just makes it to not happen as often. Because it used to happen basically just anytime. I remember in undergrad a lot where I would have those issues and would just be sick and then have to leave class or have to move to a different room or have to catch something by the end of it because my stomach was just not happy. So that ended up being a lot of my issues. It was to the point that some of my teachers could tell, some of my professors were like, hey, you're looking a little pale here. Have you gotten things checked out? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, it's just stomach problems. And by the time I graduated, I figured out, hey, it's IBS, but also your gallbladder went from working 80% to 40% in a year. And probably by the next year, it would have quit working entirely. Just of how badly it went down. So during that particular time, I ended up having to do gallbladder surgery during then and then have IBS. So really, I don't have a whole hell of a lot blocking my way. So, fun stuff. This particular yarn, I'm gonna have to rewrap this because it's so tingly. I might do that after this, just because it's gonna. I always like my yarn to either be in its coil or in a ball form. Something like this. I'm like, it's so messy, it's tangled, and I get tangled. I get tangled in it. So we might do that while I just chat for a little while and not do that. But since this one's already almost done, we'll just go ahead and finish it. This is actually for Wrap Zodiac. I wanted a dark red here, the gray for the wings, and then there's a little bit of gold in it. So that's what this one resembles. I said I think there's still over 20 something that I need to get done. I have a whole list that I'm like, hey, this is the stuff that I need to get done. I finally also minimized my list because I was also keeping ones that I've already done and checked off, but I ended up cleaning that list up, cleaning it up to where it only shows what I need to do, which makes it a lot nicer and it's not as overwhelming because then it doesn't look like I have over 50 to do. I've actually read past my goal already. I have I think I'm at 60 out of 50, and that's because I've started doing it at work where we'll have the lunch break, and my lunch break's hey, you have an hour to do it. Typically, and this is probably because I've gotten so used to substitute teaching, but usually I eat my lunch between 20-30 minutes and then I'm done. So what I tend to end up doing is using the rest of my lunch period to read. So I get 30-40 minutes of just uninterrupted reading. And it's nice. Some days I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna watch like a show and just not do anything. But majority of the time, I will end up reading. Right now, I'm currently reading The Keeper of the Night, or it's The Keeper of Night, I think is what it's called. I actually found it at Ollie's. They had like some book sales going on at Ollie's, and The Keeper of the Night is actually the main character is a half-breed between a Grim Reaper and a Shinigami from Japan folklore, both having to do with death. And then it's kind of her story of where most of them want them to be only a Reaper, only a Shinigami, and she is neither. She's both. So how does she figure this out? Where does she end up in her life? And so far, I really like it. It's got a good description going on for it, and it also has, see, there's our green square. It has a great description, and it has a really good world building so far. It's like 380 something pages. I think I'm only on page 80, but I can tell from it that the world building is really nice because they actually kind of explain a little bit of lore, but it also describes like this is where they are camped out at. This is where they're now on a boat to get to the Shinigami, to get to Japan so they can get to the Shinigamis. Like, there is a lot of description where you can actually see what is going on, like, in your head. So it's actually quite fun to read. So it's actually, I think it's a duology, if I read the back correctly. Because I was trying to see if there was another book in the series, and right when I was like, hey, I'm going to look at it, it was time for me to go back to work. So then I was like, oh, gotta get back to work. So I didn't really get a clear look at it. But according to Goodreads, there is a second book. I believe it's a duology. So basically, I read the second book, I'm done. But if they continue, my whole big thing with getting into a new series is whether the ending is still as good as the beginning. This book here, Rhapsodiac, it was a good book. Like, don't get me wrong, it's just good. But would I read the full series? Probably not. It wasn't good enough for me to be like, yeah, I still want to continue reading. So that's where the issue is for me when it comes to starting new series. Oh, crap. That just went flying. Oh, there it is. It went under my keyboard. But that's kind of my issue when it comes to starting series, is like, oh, hey, is this still going to be good? Will it continue looking like or sounding how it does? Because sometimes it's like, great, it sounds amazing, and yeah, I want to know what happens next. And then sometimes by the end of it, I'm like, I don't really know what you're doing. I don't know really where we got or where we came from. I think I'll just not do the series. So that's how it is for me. Right now on Kindle, I'm starting the Throne of Glass series. I'm actually on the second book, which I think is Crown of Midnight. Don't quote me on that because that could be wrong. But I'm on the second book of that series, and that one had me hooked. That one, by the end of the series, just was like, yeah, this is the book. I've read ACOTAR, it's a good series. I enjoyed it, and I enjoy the writing of it. But also now reading Throne of Glass, I've really, really, really liked Throne of Glass more than ACOTAR. It's like, this is just me from the first two books, but by the end of it, I'm like, okay, ACOTAR is like 5 out of 5. Throne of Glass would be like 6 out of 5 for me if I could do that. And the second book so far is still that 6 out of 5. We'll have to see if it still stays that way when I continue reading. I think there's 7 books, so I'll see if I still feel the same way by the end of it. I may not. There's no telling. But yeah, so here is Rhapsodiac. Woo! And so if you guys are wondering, basically a lot of my stuff looks like this, where it's, square. But what I'll end up doing is, like, the edges here, I'll attach another square and try to create a blanket of the covers, of, like, the different covers into, like, a full blanket. So that's where that is. And I'm just going to put that over here so we can, like, just see how it in frame type stuff. This, on the other hand, is driving me crazy. So one thing I'll do, let me see what paper I have. I do typically like to twirl it around something that is kind of thicker. It's thicker than a snicker type thing. This would probably be fine if I just grab the top of this. I've done this before with cardboard, but typically I take like a piece of cardboard like this and then wrap it up. Hi! Glad to see you in stream. Hello, hello. I'm currently wrapping this yarn up because it looks like a mess. Like, it's just crumpled up. So, I'm showing that typically I like to take a piece of, like, cardboard or harder type of paper and then wrap it up. I'm doing alright. I kind of had some stomach issues during the beginning of the stream, but so far it's been a good day. How have you been? Is your day/night going well? No, this is kind of my, like, hey, we're relaxing before stream lap shit. Well, as the yarn barrel goes flying. Where'd you go? Gosh dang it. That's good. I'm glad you've been doing good. Have you been, like, are you getting ready to lay down or go to bed or starting the night off? That's what I'll be doing after this. I'll be laying down and getting ready for bed. But I figured I was, like, at work and I was like, I really want to do a crochet stream. Even if we've only done one so far. But we will do a crochet in. And figured I could stream for a little while and then get ready for bed. Get to be at work tomorrow, woohoo. But this is usually like my stuff I can do without really worrying about certain things. Like, just give me some of this yarn so then it won't get tangled anymore. See, as you can see, it is getting tangled in that way. It's a mess. But then again, how they had it in the story, it was a mess. But this is actually they had, Juicy Couture had their own yarn collection. And it was at Joann's. And of course now Joann's is no longer available because they went bankrupt. But, what I decided to do was I went over there to just see, okay, what type of stuff do you have on sale, especially yarn, because as you see, I like to crochet. And they actually had this on sale. And so I got me like 3 or 4 rolls of this just because I could get it on sale for cheaper. And I knew technically Michael's is taking the Comfort or whatever. Is It's like the loops and threads yarn. I had to look down because I could see it from here. But they're taking that over. But I wasn't sure if they were taking the rest of this over, and I don't think Hobby Lobby is either. I'll have to like do it online. Just there went one of my threaders. But I figured, well, before they go completely bankrupt and closing all the stores, I will grab this while it's on sale. And so that ended up with me like this, which ended up actually coming in at a great time because I was almost out of red yarn, funny enough. So this worked perfectly, and some of my stuff actually needs like this darker red instead of like the bright. I have like a bright fire truck red, but this is like, it would show up a lot brighter on camera than this one does. So this one works much better, and it's that velvet material, so it's super soft. I think that'll be nice with the blanket, is having a lot of my stuff is acrylic, but having some with this velvet material will make my blanket very soft. So I gotta figure out which book I want to do next. I can mark off my next list, or the next book. Let's see. That could be a good one, is the Savor the Moment, which is like white, ivory, and light blue. Or maybe we'll do House on the Water, which is blue, purple, and gray. At this point, I should just do a number generator and just be like, pick one. I'm gonna have to do them all anyway. Whoops. Well, it'll come up eventually. The end will be near. Or maybe I'll do Odd Thomas. It's literally silver and black. It'll just be silver, silver, black, black. Ooh, done. I ended up having to, part of the Joann sale that we all love is, they had the massive yarns on sale. So I have a massive black yarn because I use a lot of black yarn. I should have gotten, when it was going on, I should have gotten a white one, because that's another one that I typically use, but I forgot. So roll, 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 roll. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Woohoo! Keep those doggies rolling, roll high. We're done. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have 25. Let's see. Actually, I might be able to just type it on screen. Number generator. 1, 2, 25. Generate. Got 24. Should be Throne of Glass. Pretty easy. Actually, I shouldn't have even put that away, because I actually need red. This one is another 3-color one. Let me look at some of these. I like this pattern just because it is very like, you keep all your colors in one place. So I do like that. Get myself a little drink. A little drinky drink. Let's see. Let's see what we got. What do we have that we can use for a granny square? Because I could do. There is a sunburst one that I like. That could be really, really pretty if I do it correctly. But have to find it. The only reason is I don't have a lot of them memorized. Could probably do this one memorized, but the other ones I really don't. I will be honest. There it is. I know it's from Sarah Maker because she does a pretty good job at like being like, here's this, and you're done. There we go. So we'll do that. We'll do our, oops, sorry, my eye is itching. Woohoo, there we go. And we'll do the sunburst for Throne of Glass. Now, funny enough, a lot of these require a magic ring, but ever since I realized I could do it this way, I find it much easier, which is chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And then, like, so you have the 5 little stitches here. Put this up to the camera. These little stitches. And then all you have to do is just hook into this one. You do like 5 little stitches, hook into the first one, and then grab the yarn and just pull through both. And then all of a sudden you get the little hole that you usually see when you have a magic circle. So we have chain 3 and then do 15 double crochets. Another thing I like about this is, let me zero it out. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, there we go. I can count them. So there's that. And we'll do, this will be a 1. I feel like I'm like the owl from the Tootsie Pop commercials, which probably some of you know and some of you don't know. It'd be like a 1, a 2, a 3, crunch. How many licks does it get to take to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know. That type of commercial. Some of you would know it, some of you don't. But I remember seeing it like when I was watching cartoons and it'd play that commercial. I was like, I knew there was someone who did the world record, because I was like, oh, has someone done this? And my mom's like, oh yeah, there's a world record for it. I don't know if it ever got proven, done again or whatnot, but it's, the whole slogan was like, how many ticks does it take to get to, or how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? And so there was like this little owl that would say the numbers. I think that was 5. Let me go back and make sure that I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And it would say this, and it was kind of like my favorite commercial. I just remember it like I can visually see it in my head right now. So if you guys have seen it, you know, mention in the chat. If you haven't, go on YouTube and look it up. It's just a funny little commercial that, of course, was on cartoons. Yeah. Of course, the other issue is when you accidentally hit the light and not the actual, like, the number counter. There's 8, 9. We need 5 more, or 6 more. My brain was one step ahead of what I already had done. So 1. That's a 2. So go 1, 2. The 12, 13, 14, last but not least, 15. Woo! Which gives us our little center of the sunburst. I gotta crochet this into that. It's just funny because they're like, yeah, snip it off and join like a new color, and for me it's like, well, I'm using the same color because I'm just going to build off of this into the red, into like a red puff. So I'll have to see if the puff stitch works with this, because I don't know if it will. 1, 2. So something like this is a yarn over, go through here, insert hook, pull up, you have three little loops, then yarn over, go into the same stitch again, pull up, you should have 5, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, go under again, you should have 7, 3, 6, 7, and then yarn over and pull through all the bits. Ta-da! There's a puff stitch, which kind of doesn't really look too much different than this, but that's what it looks like. Beep to you too. Somebody outside the door is just like, or the window is like beep, and beep to you too. So there's one. This would be another 2 here. I'm trying to actually see. Yeah. There we go. That's our yarn over the 2. So you yarn over, we put it in here, we yarn over again, we got 3. Do the same thing again, we got 5, do the same thing again, we should have 7, and then we get to pull through all of these, which is, this is actually a lot easier to do than it was on the other yarn that I have, because I think it's because this is thicker, so putting it into like this and putting like a bunch of yarn overs into your hook makes this look really easy for this, because it will just kind of slide in, versus the other ones that get really tied together. The only bad thing is I can't really notice the difference. I know that was 3, so I'll probably mark that. This is 1, 2, and this is 3 right now. 3, yarn over, go in, pull out, 5, go over, yarn, and pull again. That should give us the 3. Though to me it just kind of looks the same as this, but maybe. So, see if I can. Camera's set a different way than I'm used to. So it's like yarn strings here, and then this is the burst. If it was with any of the other yarns, you would definitely be able to see like there's a burst here and there's a burst there. But this one you can't really tell. I just know I'm doing the movements right. I'm doing the instructions right. I'm doing the instructions over here right. So that works for me. 5. It's getting to where it's getting tight. course, now that I mentioned that it doesn't actually fight like the other ones do, now it's actually going to do the fighting. Let me redo. Because it could be that I just need to do that where it's a little bit, has a little more room on the hook. There we go. But this is where the fun part gets to begin, because it's like a lot of just here, pull here, here, do this, here, do that, until you get to the sun square. Which basically for me, I'm like, I'll just go all the way around until I get to the end, and then I get to switch colors. Just do that so I get some more string. Some more yarn. I'm going to actually pull this out just a little bit. So now it's not as difficult to do this. I used to have a yarn ring that I could use to keep my tension the same. I can't remember where it has gone. It has rolled away. It's definitely not in the bag that's over here. So somehow it has moved on me, and I don't know where it has moved to. So yeah, this is like a long-term project. I know the other day I was thinking, I'm like, what am I gonna do for Christmas? Actually go get gifts, or am I gonna actually like do what I did last year, which was I handmade everybody a gift, which was fun because it was like, yeah, making something for like my family and whatnot. But my uncle has decided to come into town, and I don't really know if he'll be spending Christmas with us too, or if it's just gonna be me and my mom and my dad. I don't know. I should be thinking about Thanksgiving. My mother's like, hey, I'm gonna need your help with this because we're gonna have a lot more people over than we're used to. We're used to like 4 of us, but now that my mom has my grandmother's house, it has become 3 has become more than that, because since my uncle moved back to town, it's him. He has 2 kids, well, 3 kids. His 3rd kid has 2 kids, so it's 3, 4, 6, so that's 6, and then the 3 of us, so it's gonna be close to 10 people at the house. A lot more than what we're used to. Mom's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, you just might have to cook the night before. At least the turkey, at least. I mean, that might be your best, like your safest option. And then I got good news from my undergrad today, or not today, yesterday is when they posted it, but they're doing an alumni marching band day, and I'm like, I probably have enough time to take off. I would just have to see if I can get up there. I'll probably have to get like a hotel for like the weekend area, just because it will be like it starts at like 8:30 in the morning, and I'm 5.5 hours away. I am not gonna try and time traffic with that and be up at the crack of dawn. I'd rather go down Friday and then be there that morning already, and then I can go over to the stadium and play my instrument. That's another reason why I'm like, I am very into my therapy. Like tomorrow I'm going to do the extra therapy they gave me, which was like, hey, if you can get to a gym, do your bicycling. Like, I want to do that because I want to get to the point, like, I can, you know, in November I can go join the marching band again, join my undergrad again, and play my clarinet for the 100th year of the marching band. Like, to me, it's still so cool that they're doing that in the first place. I honestly probably need to practice my clarinet. A lot more. Just so I can work on making sure my chops are in good shape before November. Because I think the last time I played it was probably last year. I have not played it since. I still remember how to like do this stuff. It's just like, ugh. It's just been a weird time, but I've also been procrastinating, let's be honest, because I am bad at that. I'm bad at procrastinating. I'm actually working on finding a way to do that without having the issue. See, here's my loops and threads, blue. I'm going to be trying not to do that instead. I will actually be trying a new way of doing it, which is, here we go, hold on. Here we go. I think that'll work. Hold on. Alright. There's 2. We have a cluster to account for the chain 2. So we yarn over, insert into the same hook, yarn over, pull through 2 hoops. Let me make sure I'm actually doing this part right, which is, it's a little more different than what it's supposed to look like, just because the beginning's different. So I'm having to like, remember how to do this. There we go. And then chain 2. And then we'll go to another stitch. But I was talking about the clarinet and playing it. But yeah, it's one of those that it is, I think it'll be a lot of fun, and it looks like my fraternity is doing a little special event that weekend as well for alumni, so it'll be really fun to see what happens. Oops, I did that one wrong. I'll say the one thing I enjoy about crocheting, if you mess up, you just pull and all of a sudden you're back to normal. Like, you really, it's really hard to screw something up when it comes to crocheting. Though I have screwed up a project before when it came to crocheting, and that was because I was like, oh, I'm doing this right, and I was not. I was definitely not. It suddenly became the, I don't know what I was trying to do, to be honest. I really don't. It just looked like a jumbled mess, and the amount of pulling, I pulled and pulled and pulled just to see if I could de-thread it, and it would not, like, budge. It just knotted up. I was like, God. I'm like, gosh dang it. I'm trying not to do that. Like, that's a complete oops on my end. And so I decided to do that. I was like, Gosh dang it. And I had to redo it. So it was definitely, I say that you can screw up, like you can fix crocheting, especially if you have mistakes, pretty easily. But there are times you cannot fix it. Like you're better off just snip and be like, alright, throw it away and try it again. But I'm hoping that, actually I probably should just turn this on so I can actually see where I'm going. There we go. So this is definitely not doing the way that I want it to. The only bad thing with having this type of yarn is it's really hard to see where I'm actually trying to go. Like mentally I'm like, yeah, I'm going in this direction. But then I have to be like, is it actually going in the right area that I want it to go? Or is it screwing up? It doesn't need to go that many holes. There we go. Oops. Well, that didn't work. We pull through 2. That gets us 4. And then you do 2 again and you get 5. And then you pull through. One thing for sure I have realized when I have been crocheting is that crochet has a lot of math involved if you really think about it. Like the amount of stuff you're like, oh, let me pull through here to get what I need it to do, or like, oh, specifically like if we look at this, I have to yarn over and insert it, well, where it's supposed to go, which is here. So that will pull up, hopefully. Yep. It's not working. There we go. So you pull up 3. I got 3 on here. So I yarn over again, pull through, so we get 2 loops here. I yarn over again, pull through. Now we got 4, which now becomes 3. Yarn over, go in, pull up, yarn over, pull through. Now you got 4. Well, now you yarn over again, you pull up, you pull through the 2. Now you got 5 loops on this hook. And then you're like, zhoop, pull all the way through. And then all of a sudden you've got a stitch like that. Which I've definitely probably missed one right there. But that's okay. I'm not looking for this to be super perfect. I just want it to convey the message that it looks like throne of glass. That's the whole point of this, to be honest. But let me find where I need to go. There we go. There's a lot of math when it comes to crocheting, and even if you're not like totally thinking about it, like sometimes, especially like as you probably can tell, I'm sitting here talking to you all and not like specifically being like, yarn over, pull through, okay, go through here, pull up, you know. I'm not trying to talk you through everything that I'm doing. It's very like I'm doing it methodically, but I'm also doing it without really thinking. Of course, as I do that, then I screw up. But, you know, there's not a lot of, it doesn't seem like I am thinking or like really specifically calling out the math, but it is very math oriented. As much as like, if you think about music, if you've ever played an instrument, you know that it's actually quite math inducing, because you're sitting there counting the beats, counting the measures. Okay, are you playing at the right tempo? Is this the tempo of 120? Are you looking at 160? Like, are you feeling the right tempo? Are you going too fast? Are you going too slow? Like, it's a lot of, and that was not good. I'm just going to redo that. But there's a lot of math when it comes to this. And then I'm sitting here in the science field being a geologist, and there's math in the way of like figuring out the water flow and looking at how this is. And this is coming from somebody who does not like math. I am probably one of the few science people that just does not like math. I know there are some people that are like me that really would rather just do anything besides math. But that's me. You can tell me, hey, you want to go, I don't know, go learn about sports. I'll say, yeah. Do I gotta do math? No. Okay. I don't hate it as much as I did in elementary school. Me in elementary school and math were not friends whatsoever. They were like the popular kid, and I was I would rather run away. It probably didn't help that we had a very not so nice math teacher that it was fourth grade, where she was very like adamant that if you didn't learn your multiplication tables at a correct enough speed, that you failed your class. I ended up getting a C in that class specifically because, specifically with math in general, because she wanted me to learn multiplication at a certain speed, and I could not do it. I could learn multiplication facts. I still remember most of them today, but at the speed she was wanting it, which was basically like rapid fire, boom, 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 boom. And she would give you like a test of 40 questions and be like, okay, in 20 minutes you need to figure this out. And if you weren't quick enough, well, you did fail. Or you did get like a bad grade. So for her, it was like, yeah, like you need to learn this at a certain speed. And me, myself, and I could not do that. It was to the point that the grandmother that I do not really speak with, who would usually at the time would give me money based on how well I did. And her thought was, well, you made a C in that class, which means I shouldn't be giving you really any money, maybe $1. And it wasn't until, which I felt horrible because it's like, okay, my grades are dependent on doing, or like basically getting funded by my grandmother is only worthy enough if I make certain grades. And that was kind of my mentality. That was at fourth grade. And that was my mentality through elementary school too. So let me tell you, that really fucks you up when you're older and you're like trying to do a grade and then you really don't do well and you just spiral into some sort of panic mode. Yeah, it really fucks you over at that point. And that's specifically just because I really grew up in that way, where based on the good grades is how you show if you're good or not. But it's not that I'm your granddaughter, it's did you make good grades type stuff. I don't think that's working, so I'm going to have to redo it. And that it doesn't do that well in so based on that experience, this has led me to be like, this is how much I don't like math. It was simply because of multiplication tables. That is the reason that I do not like math. But I still do decent in it. I like my math classes in high school. I usually passed with A's, sometimes B's. It wasn't bad per se. It wasn't like I was failing every math class, but it wasn't fun. I was the one that was like, I'd rather just not do any of this. I would rather, give me something fun to do. Give me some writing. Give me There was one in 5th grade is when we did it. We were given a journal, and we were basically told, hey, you had to do some sort of daily intake, and it was basically a way to practice creative writing. And let me get a drink. Like I said, a way to practice creative writing. And I had started kind of liking creative writing at this point because I had some really good English teachers that really pushed me to be more creative when it came to writing because they could see it. And this teacher was like, hey, this is how we're going to do it, and this is how we're practicing, you know, your creativity through this journal. We were only supposed to do it for like a certain period of time, but I ended up doing it the entire year, and ended up I think I asked my teacher for another notebook because I filled it up, because I was using it as a place to just brainstorm and journal like a daily thing. And nowadays I can't journal I can journal, I just forget and I procrastinate too, so that's the other issue. But the idea is that my procrastination is what's kind of hindering me now. But in that particular year, I really enjoyed the journaling for it because it was such a good time for me. It's a good thing this is not... I have to be a little careful when I do this one because it will probably get caught in that last one. It's for... Probably going to finish this off and then we'll probably call it a night just so I can get ready for the bed, figure out what I'm going to wear tomorrow. Today was a very casual, like a little t-shirt, some capris, but I gotta figure out what else I'm gonna wear since it's still 90 freaking degrees. I was talking about that journal, and it actually came in handy that year as a fun little story. That journal came in handy that year because we had the ice storm of 09. And from my hometown, if you said the ice storm of 09, everyone knows what you're talking about. If you didn't, well, you're not from the area. But the ice storm of 09 knocked out everybody's power. There was... No, I screwed that up. Oh no. Let's see if I can save it. Can I save the rings? Maybe. Hold on. Pull back. Yay, we saved it. Okay. The ice storm of 09 knocked out a lot of people's power. There's, of course, ice everywhere. I know we ended up leaving our house, driving in it. My dad ended up driving because my mom was really scared and I was a child, so I was not driving. But we drove over to his mom's place and hung out there. And basically we did like, in his mom's place, they had a generator, so that became really helpful. But there was a lot of times where we were like, okay, we gotta, heat up a candle. We gotta turn this on. We have to do this for this particular area. Ended up learning how to play chess during that point, but it was not the best at it. I only really barely remember it now just because it was the one time. But during this time, we had I had my journal from that class. This is 5th grade me, and I was just like, well, there's not really a whole hell of a lot I can do. I can read, I can do other things, but the actual, like, me doing really anything else, you know, I didn't have cell phones, I had a book, I had a notebook, but that was about it. And so what did I end up doing? I ended up, during our ice storm, is I just ended up writing in my notebook. That became kind of a pastime for me, and it was fun for me to do that too. And by the time I came back, I was like, I got all these entries, and everybody else is like, well, I got the snowstorm or the ice storm, and you know, I could barely come back and all this stuff. And I'm like, I filled a notebook because I got bored and I needed something to do, so I just filled out a notebook. I'm curious if my mom still actually has that. She might actually still have that notebook, which would be really funny. Okay, so there is this area here. I'm just going to make another one just to fill this area. There's probably don't need to do that, but it's going to get filled. Well, don't go that far down. Now, what I'm going to do if that happens, you go that far down, I'm going to look kind of silly. This will be the last one that I do. Maybe. Let me pull this string I have. Oh, well, that's probably why. There we go. I just tightened that up a little bit. Now, I don't got that big of a hole to try and fill. I'm still kind of want to do something in here just to make sure it's even. Yeah. If I can do it, I will try. I might actually just crochet the actual like string here. It's kind of sticking out, just so it doesn't try to unravel on me. That's my other concern, is a project unraveling on me. So there's that, and then we just go a 1, a 2, and then I think it's just come here and whoops, scratch. It should just be stick through here, maybe, and then maybe pop out. The question. There we go. And so then it looks like that, and then it's the yellow like square. But just pull through like that. That's where that goes. Yeah. So there's that, and I'm just gonna wrap this around like that. So I can actually kind of like see what I'm looking at. Yeah, the next one will be this one, the yellow. Which I think I have to figure out, fix this anyway. But as we are getting ready to I'm gonna get ready to end off a stream here because I have to go to bed and get ready for work. Got to go to work and do the rest of this. But I will say keep a lookout on Instagram and TikTok, which I think the Instagram down here broke. Right where my arrow is pointing. Maybe, I don't even know if that's popping up on stream. But you see Patreon, this, and then TikTok. What it is actually the Instagram. Most of mine are all the same except for the Heather Witchy Twitch. And that's because this is TikTok. But I will say, just like try to keep an idea. Just kind of stay open to these, especially Instagram and TikTok. And that's because those are the ones that I will be like, hey, stream announcement, we'll be doing this. Because I know today was kind of a surprise one. I think this is probably going to work a little bit easier than doing a stream schedule, just because sometimes scheduling gets a little funky. But this means I can be like, hey, we're going live tonight. This is what we're doing. And then like on X, Blue Sky, and Threads, I'll be like, hey, I'm live right now. Come see me. But I want to try and do another stream this week, maybe Thursday or Friday, and do another, maybe like a gaming stream or something of that nature. I'm hoping, like, you know, cross the fingers that I can fix my computer to stream my my Switch controller, so then I can actually play some of the games that I want to play on here. Crossing fingers. I may try to figure that out on Thursday, since tomorrow is my big exercise day. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and that you guys have enjoyed the stream, and I will see you in the next one. Hope you have a great night. Bye.